humans on this earth, humble yet so powerful, and such a brilliant connector of people. I think what is most special is that Rachel was such a mystical and spiritual being, and so reflective. So I will share with you that over the past 2 weeks, during some physical and personal challenges she was going through, she was searching. I will end by sharing with you our last Facebook conversations about this Unity Church. Last week, Wendy! Exclamation point. I'm coming back to work tomorrow, and I will call you and let you know when is a good time to talk. I'm also really interested in your church more than ever. I really think I need a spiritual community right now. Smiley face. The next one, this past Sunday. Actually, today is my father's birthday, so I might not be able to make it to church today, but next Sunday. I just need to know where it is. My mother and I were talking, and she is very interested in visiting also. So Rachel was supposed to come to church here today. In her quest for a spiritual community. And that she did. Just look at this amazing spiritual community that she assembled here today. And imagine the spiritual community that she's with right now. Larger than life. And yes, as she came into the world prematurely, we feel she left this world prematurely. But maybe early entry and exit were the plan. Somehow, I'm sure that Rachel would make sense of it all, find the meaning as none of us can, and would want us all to make peace with it and find the beauty. Here comes Sierra, Magdalena, Tirinelli, her beloved cousin.
Rachel may be lost to us in the physical world, but the moment she parted, the light of her spirit ignited in each of our hearts. If your heart is breaking now, let it break. Because it's not just breaking, it's breaking open. Blown open by the gift of Rachel's loving spirit. Let your heart be blown wide open so that this profound love can flow into the world. I feel Rachel in my heart telling us, don't wait to love. Don't hold your light back from the world or from each other. Share your heart with those around you. Offer your gifts. Show us your talents. Believe in your art. This is what Rachel did and what she is doing now. I believe in the wisdom of Rachel's soul. In her living and her dying, and even now, there is infinite wisdom. Imagine that Rachel is an angel now, which she is, smiling on us, comforting us in our terrible pain. Imagine that she is a laughing Buddha now, which she is, delighting in her awareness that she is truly one with us, one with all. Imagine that Rachel is a being of light and love, which she is, experiencing total freedom and the love and connectedness of the universe of God.
Her brother John.
Excuse me. I stand here now and I realize the scope that Rachel traveled across through all paths, side of her, the world of human contact. And I'm paraphrasing now, but what Reverend Debbie said earlier about the words can't fully describe that. You all here are the human elegy for Rachel. You symbolize that. The words we say here are meaningful and heartfelt, but all of you are a walking eulogy, and you symbolize that in your will for the rest of your lives. As you can imagine, trying to fully describe the kind of person my sister was a wonderfully impossible task. But after reflecting on her life during these past few days, I realized that at her core, Rachel was an explorer. Not in the traditional sense, of course, but fitting, because as many of us know, Rachel was not exactly a traditional woman. She didn't climb mountains, or delve into canyons, or travel down vast rivers in faraway places. But still, she explored. She explored with passion, enthusiasm, and vigor. Her mountains were the human condition. Her canyons, the depth and mystery of emotion. Her rivers, the magical and oftentimes confusing journey we are all on. A journey filled with joy and sorrow, good and evil, right and wrong, and that ever-present gray area between all of it. Rachel had the courage to explore the places in our lives and souls from which many of us would shy away. But not her. She was simply compelled to dig deeper, to find truth in the chaos, and to ultimately share that truth with all of us. Her tools on these adventures: writing, music, film, photography, you name it. There's nothing she couldn't do. But perhaps most profound, her ability to connect and empathize with so many people on so many levels. It's fair to say that at times my sister carried the weight of the world on her shoulders. But I know in my heart that during those times, the world never rested so comfortably. It's only human to wonder what's on the other side of all of this. I myself and many of us take solace in the belief that when we do pass, we will finally receive all the answers to the great unknown, answers that we can't find here. But knowing my ever-inquisitive sister, when she does have her encounter with God, or the supreme being, or the ultimate cosmic intelligence, and she is told in some fashion, there are no more questions here, my child. There are only answers. I think her response just might be, I wonder why that is. So I say, keep exploring, Rachel, in this, the greatest of all your adventures. I love you with all my heart. I'll see you soon, and together as brother and sister, we will continue to explore the mysteries of this wonderful universe. I'd like to close with a piece of Rachel's own writing. These are her words. And this is a piece that brought much comfort to my family. Again, words from Rachel. So Rachel writes, speaking of death, something that frightens me, but that I also embrace. My friend Helen shared a wonderful article about the Eastern way of death. There was a piece in the article that brought back a memory of me as a child, playing with my friends and having the most glorious time. But then I would hear my mother's voice singing, playing on the wind, calling me home for the evening. I would reluctantly leave my friends to settle in for the night with the rest of the family, and as I saw the sun go deeper, I knew my friends would also have to retreat as well. I would hear each of their mothers beckoning them with their own voices. You would see the silhouettes and long shadows of children scattering in all directions. We would all dream about playing together again the next day. I would like to file that memory away and think of death in those terms. Mothers and fathers calling us home. We love you, Rachel.
Thank you, Wendy, Sierra, and Joel. It's always troubling when one so young leaves this earthly plane. It's against the laws of nature. And it's especially troubling when a parent has to bury a child. It's very troubling. But I read something after the untimely death of John F. Kennedy Jr. that I thought was very meaningful, meant a lot to me. And so I invite you to think about life in a little different way. Think about it this way. We are all guests here on earth. And God has provided an elaborate preparations for our joy and our comfort. And it's simply a fact that some guests arrived before we did, and some arrived after we arrived. Some guests just peek in the door and leave immediately, having a prior commitment. Some stay a short while others stay longer. We miss those who leave early and wish they could have stayed with us much longer. But it's important to understand that there is nothing fearful or negative about those who leave early. It does not mean that God has snatched them away from us or is punishing us. We leave this earthly plane when it is our soul's choice. When one departs so suddenly and dramatically, family and friends are often left with a lot of